Okay, so today we're going to talk about evaluating information that you may encounter on social media. There's been a lot of discussion lately about fake news or false news, as Facebook calls it. And so I thought this would be a great time to discuss how we can evaluate information, particularly information that we find in memes, to verify it before we share it. So first, let's talk about fake news. Um, Facebook put out a response to fake news. They call it false news, which I think is kind of a good twist on it. So they offer a few ways to identify whether a story is genuine. So some of their tips include tips we could potentially apply to memes. For example, considering the photos. A lot of false news stories or memes will either use photos that have been manipulated, or they'll take photos out of context and place them into a different context. And we'll see an example of that in a minute. One of the things you can do with regard to this is use a service called TinEye, Tineye, or do a reverse Google image search to verify where the photos being used came from and determine what their original intent was. Another thing that Facebook recommends is checking dates. Dates are particularly difficult when it comes to memes, and we'll see an example later. But one of the ways that you can check dates is to look and see if the meme has a website connected to it. If you can go to WebLink and determine the dates and the authority from that actual link, that can solve that date problem for you. One thing to be considered when you're dealing with memes, and I'm sure this is obvious, is are they intended to be a joke? Sometimes we can look at something that's a joke, and because of something called confirmation bias, we believe that it's not a joke and actually proves a point we already believe in. So if a meme or a story confirms something we already believe to be true, we are less inclined to verify whether it's accurate. So a lot of memes are jokes, but some people share them as if they are true. So let's look at an example. So despite Facebook's attempts to help us verify the veracity of information, we come up with things like this on Facebook all the time. And granted, there is a bit of a punchline at the bottom here, but I think the point still holds. This is an example of where an image has been used to provide validity to a source or to a statement that is misplaced. So they've taken an image of students hiding from a tornado drill or performing a tornado drill and translated into students being asked to quote, do Muslim prayers 5 times a day. So what else can we do? I think one of the great tools that we have, and it's not new, it's been around for a while, is the CRAP test, CRAAP. If we apply the CRAP test to memes, we can often figure out whether it's appropriate to share that information or not. So the CRAP test is as follows: currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. So when we look at memes, let's figure out how we can apply these things. Currency, as I've already mentioned, it's kind of difficult to verify dates on memes. Often they'll have no date at all, or it'll be a limited date that only gives like the month and day, and we'll see an example of that. But if they link to a website, you can then go to that website, and at that point, hopefully, you'll find out when the information was actually created. Relevance. So this is where we consider who's the intended audience. Again, we've got to think about confirmation bias. Is this designed to reinforce something you may already believe, whether it's true or not? Authority. So who created the meme? Well, this is almost impossible, again, unless there's some sort of website we can use to verify that information. Accuracy. Is the information supported by evidence? Keep in mind that photos can be manipulated or used out of context. Can you verify the information from another source? That also falls under accuracy. So can you find the photo somewhere else? Can you find the statistics somewhere else? Cross-reference with Google. If so, then you have a better claim for it being accurate information. The other thing we have to consider with memes, again, is purpose. Is it designed to inform or teach, or is it designed to entertain? So let's see how we can apply the CRAP test to the image we saw earlier. So we'll start with currency. When was it posted? All we have here is a date of April 10th. We don't have a year. So that sort of makes us question, is this something we should share? How old is this information? Is it still relevant? Let's do relevance. So who's the intended audience for this? Well, I mean, the initial meme, maybe the intended audience is for somebody who already has a bias against Muslim people, or with the secondary joke, maybe it's for the opposite audience. Is there bias? Is there confirmation bias? I think you have to think about your own belief systems in determining that. Authority. We have no idea who created this. There's no way to know. There's no website. There's no way to know if these people are qualified to report on this topic. One thing that we can look at with accuracy on this one is, does the language seem unbiased or free from emotion? I would say that almost any time you see something in all caps like this, that is way too emotional for me to feel like it has accuracy. But of course, we can always cross-reference this with another source. We can use the TinEye search or the reverse Google image search to find this picture and see if it really is connected to this information or this information. Again, this one, I think we think about purpose. Initially, this initial post may have had one purpose, but I think with this little punchline at the bottom, we recognize that this is not designed to really inform or teach people, but is more to entertain, to sort of mock the original poster and the guy who responds to him. So if we look at it as being to entertain, then that gives us a little bit more information about whether we should use it or not. What if you can't determine whether it passes? So I feel like the one that we just looked at, it's very clear that it's maybe not, that we need a disclaimer if we're going to share it, that we need to make it clear that this is supposed to be for entertainment purposes as opposed to educational purposes. But if you can't figure out whether it passes or not, don't share it. Just don't. Don't perpetuate that information cycle. So now you're going to try it. This is a meme that I found online. Counties with a 4-day school week in Oklahoma. I'm going to get you started, and then I want you to move forward doing applying the CRAP test to see if the information is worthy of being shared. So, your first tip. Are there websites you can go to find more information on the topic? This meme, in fact, does give us a website, fightforfunding.org. It also gives us a little bit of an authority record, or not an authority record, but it shows who created it, OEA Action. So that's the organization behind it. Going to the website will help us figure out some of the other steps. So, can you apply the CRAP test to the information at the website listed above? So now I want you guys to go to this website, go down the list of the CRAP test: currency, relevancy, authority, accuracy, and purpose, and try to determine whether the meme above is worthy of being shared on social media. That's my presentation. Thanks so much.